making headlines tonight. The use of technology allowing government to speed up delivery of housing solutions. Barbados now home to the Caribbean's first medical clinic for women in their menopausal years. A government minister suggests there's a need for a liberalized environment for the generation and sale of electricity. And in sports, the Windies are still alive after today's low-scoring World Cup victory over Zimbabwe.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Hello and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. Government's use of technology is allowing it to speed up its delivery of housing solutions. Word of this from Senior Minister for Special Projects in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. William Duguid. He was providing an update on the progress of the East-West Housing Project at Haggett Hall, St. Michael today. Trevor Thorpe was there and filed this report.
Senior Minister Dr. William Duguid said the housing solutions were to answer the needs and wants of people displaced by the passage of Hurricane Elsa as well as the freak storm. He was satisfied with the progress so far. A number of young people from East-West Housing Construction who were being trained in the industry were included in the project. The senior minister was joined by Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance Dwight Sutherland and a Member of Parliament for the area, Trevor Prescott. Dr. Duguid gave a breakdown of the development.
The first part of it, of course, is to be able to show the people of Barbados exactly what we've been doing here, to be able to use new technology to build houses and to build houses quickly. So these are essentially 3 quads. Each block is 4 units, and they were done initially to be able to provide housing for people whose houses were damaged and or destroyed by Hurricane Elsa and the freak storm. So what happened, and we recognized from the beginning that we would have some people who would have challenges with land. So therefore, as we designed the program, what we designed is that we've added in these units, these housing solutions on government land for those people who have difficulty building back their house because they had difficulties with land, because the landlord had not given them permission to rebuild, and all sorts of things like that.
MP Prescott supported the project, but had one concern.
I believe that the housing policy should focus on constructing those units at strategic points across Barbados so that people who have been displaced from the specific areas will have an opportunity to live in close proximity to where they came from. I don't believe in shifting communities, that if anything happens in my community, that people must separate from the community life that they've been born to over the years and be sent to St. Lucie to be involved and live in a community that is completely alien to them.
Minister Sutherland said rain has caused setbacks, but the project was now on track. He said it's part of government's promise to build 10,000 houses.
What we have here is 12, and I just articulated another 13, that's 25. Soon to be, it will be 20 units at White Park Road, Allen's Courts. These are all rent-to-own units. And we recognize that we are utilizing technology, photovoltaics on the roof of these houses that we are building would give the ordinary man, persons who are earning less than $2,500 a month, that is the low-income category. When we put photovoltaic on the roof of these homes, persons will have mortgage rates as low as $435.
Senior Minister Duguid stopped short of saying when the tenants will be moving in. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Barbados is home to the Caribbean's first and only medical clinic for women in their menopausal years. BioConnect Medical Center officially opened its doors yesterday on World Menopause Day. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley believes the center will go a long way in breaking down barriers, as for too long, talk of women's health has been taboo. Ms. Motley says the issues affecting women and girls are real and need to be discussed and information provided.
I know only too well, because there are too many Barbadian men and women who refuse to go and get tested. And we know that early detection doesn't solve every problem, but it carries us a long way and gives us the best possible chance. And I don't say so as a politician talking for the sake of talking. This country 2 years ago saw me take leave for a few weeks, and they saw me take leave suddenly within a 5-6 day period. As fate would have it, all was well with me, but it could as easily have been a different result. And I say so because there are types of cancer that both women and men face that are not easily detectable.
Ms. Maudley says work continues to make Barbados a location of excellence for life sciences in the Caribbean and Americas.
Every journey starts with the smallest step. It is ironic that when Dr. Tedros visited earlier this year, we were able to deal and celebrate the 20th anniversary of the fertility clinic in Hastings, which is world class in its offerings. It is ironic that when Holm is visiting and we are working on projects, and you'll soon learn more about it when we release our communique, that we are in a position to also not just visit another clinic, but one that represents an attempt to make women's lives better and more manageable.
Co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of BioConnect, Rachel DeGale, meanwhile has encouraged women to be what she called the CEO of their own health.
As a CEO, you need to be armed with the best people around you. You have to have the latest technology at your fingertips, be on top of what is happening in your field. You need to decide risk versus reward. You need to make some tough decisions and say both yes and no. You need to challenge the status quo, and you need to at all times be the force behind your healthcare decisions. But in addition to being the CEO tonight, I also want to invite you to be the Chief Experience Officer of your life as well. I want you to educate yourself, question your healthcare provider, seek answers. Be assured that no longer fear and uncertainty have to creep in as we get older.
Coming up after the break, a liberalized regime for the generation and sale of electricity suggested for Barbados. Barbados has been told there's need for a liberalized regime within which the generation and sale of electricity can take place. The suggestion from Minister of Energy and Business, Carrie Simmons, who says it must be done within the context of the new market structure. Minister Simmons was at the time delivering the keynote address for the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry's inaugural Renewable Energy Expo at the Hilton.
All of you understand what an independent power producer is. And you understand the concept of being an independent power producer. You must be able to operate with certainty in a new market structure in which you are now able to produce and sell that to a single buyer, because while the Light and Power utility before would have been a monopoly, it is now going to be effectively a monopsony market where we have a single buyer and all of you as power producers are going to be selling to this single buyer. Bear in mind that part of this, and again I think perhaps a unique feature in this process, is that the utility will also be entitled to generate electricity. And so therefore the market must have stabilizing factors.
Players in the solar energy market, meanwhile, were given assurances from Minister Simmons that the licenses necessary for their operation should soon be forthcoming.
The grid and the operation of the grid is a key part of it. There is a license negotiated with regard to that, and that has been brought to commercial close. The generation license, again, has also been brought to commercial close. Storage license also brought to commercial close, and the question of dispatch also brought to commercial close. I spent a little bit of time on dispatch because dispatching electricity is simply a matter of allocating it to different points in the country, so that having sourced it, I must now move it to the places where there's a demand for it. That takes me back to the point of fairness and transparency in the process, the oversight issue which the Ministry of Energy must be able to execute.
President of the BCCI, Anthony Branker, focused on the theme for the conference, Barbados 2030 Renewable Energy Vision, Where Are We Now? Looking towards the future and the ambitious goal, he outlined what Barbados could look like.
Let's go forward to 2030. 50,000 plus households with rooftop solar PV panels. Lots of ground-mounted solar PV plants. Lots of wind turbines, both on land and offshore. A biomass plant, probably a waste-to-energy incinerator that burns garbage and biomass such as kingrass or river tamarind. And energy storage facilities, most likely battery. But all across our island, it will be about green energy. And what will Barbados sound like and smell like? We will have a quieter place, a cleaner place.
Mr. Branker, while welcoming the relaxation of licensing requirements for PV systems up to 10 kilowatts, wants efforts made to ensure financing is easily available.
These small systems, which, while small, can still cost around $20,000 or so to install. In terms of larger solar PV systems, the FTC recently issued a new power purchase agreement template for systems between 1 and 10 megawatts. There was hope from the private sector that this template would allow installations under 500 kilowatts to opt into the power purchase agreement contracts in order to unlock more funding, but this has not yet been forthcoming.
A new 1-megawatt turbine energy plant was commissioned in Barbados today. Opened by Pavana Energy Limited, the facility is located at Ashford, St. John. Chairman of the board, Omar Alahar, told the Business Report that the operation has the support of Republic Bank Limited and Ashford Dairy Farms.
It's a traditional wind turbine which has been used for hundreds of years. We know Barbados at one point in time had many windmills, we would call them. So we could say that at one time Barbados was 100% renewable energy, and maybe we'll get there one day again.
The renewable energy official admitted there were setbacks on the project, but it's ready to go into operation.
This particular project will be starting within the next 3 to 4 weeks. We'll be generating energy. The 2030 target is one the government has set, and we are trying to work towards helping the country achieve that. Whether or not we're going to get there, I can't say. I can't predict the future. You know what they say about the future. It's uncertain. So we shall see, but we are trying our best. We've had a lot of hiccups on this project. We're building during COVID. We signed our contract to start this project in December 2019, and we know what happened in January 2020. So we have been fighting hard to try to get the project done, and we are almost there now.
Sports time now, and I say good evening to Damian Best.
Yeah, good evening to Wendy. Barbados Pride 11 defeated the Legends All-Star side by 21 runs in a 50-over day-night practice match at Kensington Oval yesterday. Deciding to take first knock, the Pride 11 posted 333 for 8 of their 50 overs, led with 70 from Jonathan Carter. Akeem Jordan chipped in with 49, while Roshan Primus and Jamal Warrican scored 46 runs apiece. Shaquille Kamabach and Shem Holder took 3 wickets as well. In reply, the All-Stars side fell short on 312 for 6 of their allotted 50 overs. Jonathan Drakes was dismissed for 99 and Rashawn Worrell assisted with 48. Shamar Springer took 3 for 47. The Pride are preparing for the upcoming CG Insurance Super 50 Championship, set for Antigua and Trinidad and Tobago from October 29th to November 19th. Now, head coach Vasbert Drake says the balance of the team is just right, and he's anticipating good results in the regional tournament.
Number one, we have first time for a very long time to have someone like Shea who can be back leading from the top, captain. When I said leading from the top, you know, he's going to be in charge of the team. We have Craig Brackett who will be available for the first 3 games. We have Roston Chase who will be available, I believe, for the whole competition. We have Jonathan Carter, we have Nick Curtin. So we have some really good cadre of players that haven't been around Barbados cricket for a while. And also we have a really good balance of Primus and Springer along with Jordan and then the spinners. I feel quite comfortable as a group going into the competition.
The Pride will battle the West Indies Academy on November 1st in their opening match at the Coolidge Cricket Ground.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
There's a demand tonight for electric and hybrid vehicles. The charge from Managing Director of NASCO Limited, Roger Hill, at the inaugural Renewable Energy Expo at the Hilton Barbados Resort today. He said the reduction in import duties recently given by government was the reason behind the demand.
Currently now, our overall hybrid vehicles represent about 25% of our overall sales. And we have more hybrid vehicles coming. We have 2 new models coming next year, which is going to boost our electrification range of vehicles. So we're looking forward to that, very excited on that.
The senior automotive official said a reduction in the importation of the conventional engine-powered vehicles was on the cards, but the technology had moved to the next level.
Even a lot of the new fossil fuel engines now that are being produced, the economics on that have improved tremendously. Mileages have increased. You know, they're making more efficient engines. But naturally, every hybrid vehicle or electrification vehicle that becomes available to us, we will be introducing that, and then obviously starting to drop fossil fuel or full fossil fuel vehicles as we move forward. So like our Corolla Cross, as I said, we have 2 new models coming next year. I don't want to give information on those as yet, but they'll be hybrids. So we have a lot of excitement coming our way.
And we go over once more to Damien Bess in the Sports Center for some more action.
Thanks so much, Wendy. Well, a top-class performance from goal shooter Faye Agard fed Barbados Gems to a handsome victory last night at the America's Netball World Cup qualifier in Jamaica. Well, Agard, who scored all of her attempts, combined with captain Latonya Blackman to power Barbados to the win, 47-26. 37th ranked USA in white taking on 14th ranked Barbados Gems. So you know who are the favorites to win this matchup. But I'll tell you what, the first 2 quarters, it was a seesaw battle. The Gems were reminded that anything can happen on the day. The mother and daughter combination of Ansel and Anaya Langang. Anaya using her long levers, contact call, misses the attempt. But Mum is there to clean up. Anaya netting 6 of her 12 attempts, with most of those converted in the first half. Evades goalkeeper Shawnette Azor-Bruce and the simple task of scoring. Barbados captain Latonya Blackman was at the goal shooter position in the first half and showed lots of confidence under the pole. Case in point, the Gems with possession once again and an opportunity to take the lead for the first time. Some sloppy play in the first few minutes gave their opponents the edge. Centre Tanisha Rockyaw, who now has 50 caps for the 246, finding Blackman, who draws contact. Life made easy after that. Puts her team up 7-6. But the Gems somehow couldn't create enough daylight between themselves and the USA in the first 2 quarters. The girls from North America with a 2-goal lead at halftime. Azor-Bruce trying to deny Anaya. Doesn't matter. In fact, the USA, just like in the first quarter, dropped in 8 goals. The lob pass plucked out of the air by Ansel, who was super efficient in the contest, scoring 15 of 16 attempts. Barbados with lots to think about at halftime. Well, the discussions and changes proved to be fruitful for the Gems, with Faye Agard replacing Blackman at goal shooter, and Blackman switched to goal attack duties to start the third. And indeed, it was like watching a beautiful transformation. The Gems quickly leveled the score at 16. Then Agard went on a tear, automatic from any angle. Blackman was providing the ammo, and Agard was deadly on every shot. Goalkeeper Trishwana Daly, a spectator at this point. The gap became wider than the ABC Highway or halfway tree in Kingston. 26-19, and the pace and movement up the court had the USA on their heels. Agard just outstanding. Player of the match finished with a 100% record, 28 goals from 28 attempts. the stats didn't look good. The USA limited to 3 goals in the third quarter compared to the Gems, who registered 14. Azure Bruce had the circle locked with 4 interceptions and making her opponents pay for anything off target. And it only took seconds for the Bajans to turn that into a positive. The USA's defense out of position and A-guard in a purple patch. 28-19 to end the third. Long and short of the story, Barbados ran away with this one in the end, piling on 18 more goals in the fourth quarter to win the contest, defeating the USA 47-26.
Balenciaga is no stranger to causing a stir when it comes to fashion, and its most recent fashion show was certainly no different. During the latest mud show at Paris Fashion Week, designers left everyone talking about one of its bags, which made its debut. It's a leather version of the Lay's bag of chips. But we're gonna have to wind up here now because the bag is empty. That's our news tonight. Good night and be good.
Thanks for visiting us. To get more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.